What? Didn't you know I'd be about my Father's business? Have you ever had an epiphany before? A wow, like a life-changing moment, an illuminating moment, an epiphany? The epiphysis cerebri, also known as the pineal gland, is a small pine cone. Here we have at the Vatican, a big giant pine cone fountain. Right in the center with a peacock on the left and right. Left brain, right brain, pine cone in the center, pineal gland. Peacocks, I'm assuming because these are your eyes, because the all the feathers of a peacock has a bunch of eyes. But let's continue. Oh, Pinocchio, the blue fairy to become a real boy. Pinocchio, pine cone, pineal gland. That's what it's about. This is not devil stuff. This is God stuff. Christians, this is God stuff. Don't be afraid of the way God made you. A small pinecone-shaped gland in the brain that secretes what? Melatonin. What is melatonin responsible for? Your circadian rhythm. Your circadian rhythm, your day-night cycle. Light. The light input. A hormone that regulates sleep and wakefulness. Interesting. Very interesting. But if you actually look it up, it'll say the pineal gland is one of the most, understudied, mysterious parts of the human body. That's what they'll tell you. The pineal gland is part of the endocrine system, a network of glands that release hormones into the bloodstream. The pineal gland's melatonin production is controlled by the suprachiasmatic nucleus. That's interesting. The suprachiasmatic nucleus, which is synchronized to a 24-hour cycle by the, I just saw the 24, I was thinking about the 24 elders. 24. The pineal gland is the least understood gland in the endocrine system. So right here, look what they're saying. The pineal gland is the least understood gland in the endocrine system and was the last to be discovered. They're saying it's the last to be discovered. Even though the last to be discovered, 300 BC. This is a very interesting study. If you go down and you just study all about the pineal gland, I'm getting to this word epiphany though. This is the word, the pineal gland is epiphysis cerebri. Now, doesn't that sound a lot like an epiphany? In fact, is this where the word epiphany comes from? I'm gonna let you do your own research because I don't know. I think so though. For entertainment purposes only. Epiphany. Capitalized January 6th. That's interesting. January 6th. Observed as a church festival in commemoration of the coming of the Magi as the first manifestation of Christ to the Gentiles. So, epiphanies. Okay? This is when the Magi came. The wise men, the Magi, they're called Magi. We say wise men, but it's really Magi. Like they follow the stars. They're astronomers. Or in Eastern Church in commemoration of the baptism of Christ. Epiphanies. The pineal gland. It's relating to. It's just relating to, I'm saying, Christians. An appearance or manifestation, especially of a divine being. So the epiphanous, which is the name that they gave for this pineal gland, is epiphany. It's epiphany. It's closely related to epiphany. Epiphanous cerebrum, it says, and it's an appearance or manifestation, especially of a divine being. I understand this is a different word, but I'm just showing you the relationship here. Usually a sudden manifestation, a perception of the essential nature or meaning of something. You have this epiphany, right? The eye is the light of the body. I'm gonna share this verse here. An intuitive grasp of reality through something, such an event, usually simple and striking. An intuitive grasp of reality is epiphany. An illuminating discovery, shining light on a discovery. An illuminating discovery, realization, or disclosure. A revealing, a scene, or a moment. Epiphany, the manifestation of Christ to the Gentiles as represented by the Magi. And it's a festival commemorating this. Manifestation of something divine, a moment of sudden revelation. The revelation of Jesus Christ is an epiphany. It's an epiphany. Epiphysis cerebri. Where do you think this name came from? The main function of the pineal gland is to receive information about the state of light-dark cycles. God says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. Well, of course, right? Because God is. Like he says, I am. What changed Saul of Tarsus, to Paul? he saw a manifestation of Christ in blinding light. As he journeyed, he came near Damascus, and suddenly there shined round about him a light from heaven. And he fell to earth and heard a voice saying unto him, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? This is Jesus, right? This is also an epiphany, right? This manifestation of Christ. This is called a pineal gland. Look, this is all very straightforward stuff. The epiphysis cerebral, I think the word was. The melatonin, so the pineal gland secretes melatonin and it's released into the cerebral spinal fluid. Jacob's ladder, descending and ascending. Okay, this is what it is. Now I know what Christians are thinking. They're very afraid of this stuff. They're very afraid. But what's there to be afraid of your own body? Now, do we open up gateways and doors using drugs and things like this? No, we don't. We don't do any of that. What I'm showing you here is what they knew and what they wrote about in your Bible. Jacob's ladder. This is your spinal cord. 33 vertebrae of your spinal cord. Jesus dies at 33. The melatonin is released into your cerebral spinal fluid, which flows around the brain and spinal cord and then into the bloodstream. And the pineal gland is responsible for sensing the day-night cycle. The pineal gland has a photoreceptor that receives light signals, causing it to produce melatonin. Both darkness and indirect sunlight exposure activate the pineal gland. Is this so dangerous? Is this so dangerous? How many of you take melatonin every night to go to sleep? Who are against what I'm showing here? I'm sorry I'm speaking this way. I realize I need to tone it down a little bit. It's the way that people respond to me when I say this stuff is so rude. When we have this right here, the light of the body is the eye. It's always singular. If therefore thine eye be single, the whole body shall be full of light. So what does you think this is talking about? 300 BC. The pineal gland was first likely recognized in the human brain around 300 BC. So they knew what they were writing about. Look at Herophilos of Alexandria. Of course, there's so many things that happen in that library of Alexandria, in the city of Alexandria, rather. But then we had the burning of the library of Alexandria. Please share this video. Somehow help get it out. I don't even know why I bother posting on TikTok anymore. Like this is a viral video. I know for a fact, and just the fact that they don't share it should show you something. That they don't share, that it doesn't get put out anymore. Like my videos just but I mean, to me it doesn't matter because but it's frustrating. I want y'all to see this. After Jacob wrestled with God all through the night, all through the darkness, and never let go, and he said in the morning, right, he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob. So God changes his name. Remember, and we get a new name. We get a white stone with a new name, right? And then Jacob named the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. Isn't this an interesting story? Saul, his name gets changed to Paul when he's surrounded by this light and he is blinded so that he can see. Think of the metaphors of all this. Think of the metaphors of all this and what it means for you personally and your enlightenment. I'm just going to say the word enlightenment because look what Jesus says. Jesus says the light of the body is the eye. So I want to enlighten this. This is what he wants for us. He's not saying to stay away from this, but what he is saying is, but if thine eye is evil, this is where Christians are right, but we need to stay on track. We're not evil. If the eye is evil, the whole body shall be full of darkness. Remember, the pineal gland is responsible for the day-night cycles. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. I can go on and on and on about this, and maybe I will make a few more videos about this, but peacocks are the eyes. You have the good thief on the left, the good thief on the right side of your brain. The east, the garden was planted eastward, the right side of your brain, and the bad thief on the left, Dismas, Gestus, and you have, the pine cone right in the middle, Christ, Golgotha, the place of the skull. It's an epiphany. Is anyone having an epiphany right now? Let me know in the comments if you're having an epiphany with your epiphysis cerebri. Love y'all.